Today, we will be exploring just a strike on a 200-acre claim within the Colorado Gold Rush history, also known as the Pikes Peak Gold Rush. But weirdly enough, most of this happens north of Pikes Peak. Pikes Peak was just used as a symbol for travelers when they had arrived to like the Denver area before they went deeper into the mountains to strike it rich. Before we explore the history of this sleepy little ghost mine town of Silver Plume, which is where we are sitting right now, let's see how it all started. And generally today, this introduction to the history of Colorado gold mining is going to take us through Silver Plume, Golden, weirdly Dinosaur Ridge, and the fork of Platte and Clear Creek that meet just north of Denver. Let's go see where this all started, the origins of this cool historic oddity over at the South Platte River and Clear Creek Fork. Welcome to the first stop of our history journey, just north of Denver, Colorado. I'm currently standing right in front of Highway 76. From here, 76 will take you up to Brighton and Fort Morgan, Colorado, northeast of here. And the other major interstate intersecting at this point is Highway 25. This is the main artery that runs north to south of the Front Range of the Rocky Mountains, spanning from Las Cruces, Mexico, all the way up to Buffalo, Wyoming. Now, you may be wondering, why in the world am I just standing at this random highway junction? Well, this is where the story begins, at a very different junction right behind me. And you may be wondering, why is this spot so important? Well, let's go for a little more of a walk and go to these little creek banks behind me. As the Jefferson Territory was slowly taking shape, with new faces slowly settling in throughout the area, it would witness a bit of a growth spurt in the late 1850s because of what some prospectors may have found in these very banks right behind me. We are currently standing where the South Platte River and Clear Creek meet, just right there. Hiding within these banks of freshly eroded mountains, cliffs, and valleys was hiding trace amounts of gold. Throughout 1858, small parties who stopped here began slight little rumors floating about, slowly spreading throughout the nation that there could be gold in these waters. As the population slowly grew, so did the curiosity of these mystic Rocky Mountains, attracting more and more people to see if they can be the first to strike it rich. But in 1859, everything changed, and why we're at this very spot. That's because the water flowing right behind me in Clear Creek will be the key to unlocking a chest of gold in the Rockies. So let's slowly prospect our way up Clear Creek, looking for a man named George Jackson, found in what today is known as Idaho Springs. We stand here in a once booming gold mining town sitting on one of the largest gold deposits in Colorado. Between Idaho Springs and the neighboring town on the other side of this mountain to our side, going up this street here, that is actually Black Hawk. Between those two, billions and billions of today's dollars worth of gold were extracted from this area. One of the more famous mining structures close to downtown here, Idaho Springs, is just a quick walk away east from our location. So let's head on over. Is the Argo Mill, this big old red building that's taken up the side of this mountain. This has become an integral piece of the mining district, providing milling services to the surrounding mines, and is probably most famous for the Argo Tunnel. It's a little over 4-mile long tunnel blasted right through the middle of this mountain, providing drainage, ventilation, and transportation services for the mines utilizing this rich gold vein underneath all this rock. This 4-mile long tunnel went completely through the mountain to Black Hawk and provided these services for the mines over there as well. Then this mill became one of the largest gold mills in Colorado. It's amazing that the gold deposits in this area were so rich that this town needed to build its own processing mill before even sending the ore out. That is wild. Just think about the amount of material pulled out of this mountain behind us. But hold on, wait a second. I think we may have skipped ahead a little bit. Ah, right, we got a little sidetracked. Okay, it is time to see where all of this began and find Mr. Jackson. And luckily, I know just the place. He's just a quick walk on the other side of town. Come on, let's head over. This water is freezing. Okay, so here we are, well over 100 years ago, in this exact spot where Chicago Creek that I'm standing in drains right behind me into Clear Creek. This is where the Colorado Gold Rush started. George Jackson was panning for gold in this very spot in January of 1859. And what he found in his pan eventually leading to the massive amounts of gold found right here in Idaho Springs. And with that, the gold fever would completely take over this territory, which will soon become the state of Colorado. Word quickly spread throughout the nation, and just shortly after this event, masses would descend here, looking to strike it rich from an unsteady economy at the time. With people pouring in from all over the place, there was a need for all types of goods in a bustling industry like these massive steam engines behind me that will soon become a revolutionary way to move people and goods across the United States. Just 10 years later, in 1869, with the construction finished on a transcontinental railroad, would be the start to this revolution. And not soon after that, trains would be hauling hundreds of tons of ore out of this very town. Many towns were popping up overnight, with everyone scrambling to find their claim. With all of these people looking to mine, there would also need to be supplies. A trading hub would quickly pop up overnight, acting as a gateway into the untamed Rockies. Golden City, Colorado, or just Golden today, was established in 1859, uncoincidentally the start of the gold rush. As you can see right behind me, it has grown into much more than just a couple farms and a couple little trading hubs to go out to the mountains. Today, it is a beautiful small town nestled between the Front Range of the Rockies and the Table Mountains, which we are standing on right now. Overlooking a once mighty hub for trade and industry, at one point having a legitimate chance of becoming the brand new state of Colorado's capital in 1876. Below this grand overlook are the legacies of that time. The massive Coors Brewery plant, established in 1873, still operating here today, but much larger than its humble beginnings. So let's get off of this mountain and head down in to explore Golden. So before we go right to downtown Golden, we're just going to make a little pit stop in this historic district, basically a block from downtown. And if you guess the name of this, you'll probably get it. It's called the Golden Historic Park, which, as you can see behind me, is an old Pioneer wagon. These things are really cool. Just imagine going from the East Coast to here in one of these little wooden wagons. I tell you what, I'd be so freaking sore, man. That would be a rough ride. But most of this wouldn't exist without some of those first people roughing it out in these wooden wagons. So to honor Golden's humble beginnings, let's take a little quick sidestep before going downtown and explore what they have to offer. So behind me is the Reynolds cabin. And I just wanted to take a little pit stop at this one because this is the oldest structure for this little historic site. This was built in 1873 at Pierce Ranch, which slowly grew into a ranch well over 1,000 acres. All right, let's go check out some more. Much of what is shown in this park is from the Pierce Ranch, located in Golden Gate Canyon. This historic park opened up in 1999. So it's not the oldest museum in the world, but it's been here for a little bit. Luckily, they do offer guided tours for this site if you're looking for a more in-depth venture through, including a root cellar, a couple cabins, The old barn with some chickens and bees, depending on the time when you are here, if they are on location, and quite a bit more to explore in this little area. Most of the buildings housed on this site are well over 100 years old, so it's really cool to take a walk through history here, giving you a glimpse into what it was like living during this rapidly transforming and evolving time for a new bustling state trying to find its way to a hopefully brighter and unknown future. All right, there you have it. Now that we've seen some of its past, let's go walk over to downtown and see its present. This is today's Golden. Behind me is the famous Welcome to Golden Arch, taking you into a lively downtown full of restaurants and shops, which has become more of a tourist destination, far from its trade-induced past. This bustling golden city welcomed not just miners but scholars as well. All of this new development and industry, along with the quickly growing population, also grew the need for higher education. And so, the School of Mines quickly became a reality, with the founder Bishop George M. Randall understanding the educational vacuum that was occurring right here in Golden. The school first kind of started out in 1870 as a private school with some of the original faculty on staff, including George Randall, Edward Berthoud, George West, and our good friend Arthur Lakes. Now, you'll want to remember that name for later. So over the years, the school will go through a few changes, and eventually in 1876, once Colorado has officially become a state, that this school is officially established as the Colorado School of Mines. This school quickly masses an impressive mineral and fossil collection whom Arthur Lakes and a few other colleagues amassed during their time here. Let's head inside to check it out. So Arthur was quickly appointed professor of geology in 1880 due to his knowledge, discoveries, and passion for the subject. This vast collection of minerals and fossils led to the creation of this museum that continues to grow today. The Colorado School of Mines Geology Museum houses one of the best mineral and fossil collections in the state. This well-kept palace of geology is well worth a tour, or multiple tours, because they are only able to show a few thousand of the over 40,000 unique pieces housed here. So they do switch pieces out from time to time. The museum starts off with a fantastic display area showcasing many of the diverse minerals found in this state, breaking it down county by county and even per mine, which is where many of these were more or less accidentally discovered while looking for other precious minerals. With most of the diverse collection having been found in the Colorado Mineral Belt, which is a geological area cutting right through the state, containing much of the high-value minerals, gems, and fossils that sparked the very gold rush we are talking about today. The school has done a great job of beautifully displaying and breaking down each and every piece housed behind the bright glass showcases. Once you have your fill of the top floor, it is time to curiously venture down the steps to see what is housed below, where we will be able to see minerals from all over the world, including Europe, Africa, and other regions of the globe. This room continues into a small mine shaft detailing how minerals used to be extracted out of these very mountains, with a special little room to see inside. There is more to explore here, and possibly some minerals not from this planet to see here as well. But that can be saved for your visit, so we can continue on our history journey. As the Front Range continued to expand and grow, so did the mining communities deeper into the mountains, bringing us here to Silver Plume, about a 40-minute, well, depending on the season really, about a 40-minute drive from Golden today. And back during that time, it was a significantly longer journey until trains were implemented. Within this gold rush, silver was also discovered, but it wasn't really utilized right away because gold was just worth more at the time. So the mining in this area didn't really super get kicked off until almost like the 1870s. Since there was gold here, but not in the quantities as other places, like right down the highway here in Idaho Springs. But little did they know in the 1860s, when the silver was first discovered, that this place was full of it, and it was great high-grade silver. So eventually when the value went up, people would start flooding in and start a mini silver rush within this gold rush. At its peak, this town had a little over 2,000 residents scurrying about and participating in the community. Just about the same time as Golden, and really the state in general, was really starting to find its stride in this new population boom. But as you can see today, this town more resembles a ghost town than compared to what it was in its heyday. But fortunately, along with its sister town down in the valley below called Georgetown, this general district has become a National Historic District. There has been a great deal of preservation along most of the buildings here and in Georgetown. I mean, look around here. This whole place is just full of old historic buildings. Honestly, I love just coming to this town because it just feels like you just kind of walk back in time a little bit. So right up this hill behind me, right in the center of downtown, as you can see by this little crossroads, takes you right up to a trailhead that'll snake through a lot of the old mining infrastructure here. So let's head on up to the same trails the miners used over 100 years ago to go extract some more and hopefully fill their pockets full of silver. Now, during the same time miners were hauling their way up to extract ore on the mountainside of Silver Plume, our friend Arthur Lakes was climbing the Table Mountains of Golden, Colorado, which is where we're at right now, in search of minerals and fossils of his own. One day, hiking with students on this very South Table Mountain, and very well could be in this same area, he made a great discovery that wasn't truly known until the year 2000, because they came across a large fossilized tooth that they thought was a part of a whole different animal. But then somebody stirred it up almost 100 years later, reanalyzed it, and figured out this was the first recorded Tyrannosaurus Rex fossil ever found. Due to all these findings, he regularly searched throughout this area, slowly working south, that way towards Hogback Mountain. And these discoveries would lead to the foundation of a whole new geologic era. Oh, so come on, let's head down south and see what he discovered. We have just made it up to the top of our first set of the multitudes of mining ruins throughout this mountainside. Here, take a look around. We have like an old work shed. We even still have, what's awesome at this one I think specifically, is you still have the remnants of some of the minecart tracks heading right into the tunnel. Which is really cool that some of this infrastructure is still hanging out here well over 100 years later. After sitting and rotting out in this harsh environment for so long, it's impressive there's really this much left that's this intact yet. But a lot of what's left of the mines is just scattered all over the place because of this kind of harsh environment. Yet luckily this first stop still has a good amount left to it. You can see these railroad tracks that go to nowhere. Looks like another old operating shed. You have this miner shed as well, but what's really cool is we'll just take a quick look inside. And what's awesome is look at this old massive engine. So I am not sure what this was used for in the past. My best guess is this was most likely used as a large water pump to keep all the water drainage out of these mines. Because if you take a look to my left here, you have all this piping that goes in this reservoir tank, and this pipe goes straight into this engine. So like I said before, my best guess is this was a huge water pump to make sure the miners stayed safe and dry. And something really cool with this engine is that it even still has like the original belts attached to it with this huge generator housed in the back. Just imagine how much power they needed to keep the water from flooding these miners out. And what's even cooler is to my left here is what I assume is most likely either a tool shed or a dynamite shed. And the reason why I think this is, look how reinforced all these doors are. It's like double thick. And this thing is really cool to check out inside. And just think about it, over 100 years ago, there were people scattered all out right here, deep in the mines, blasting away, getting all kinds of crusty, dirty, risking their lives for some silver ore. Fortunately today, all of the mine entrances have been closed along this mountainside. Really, it's just for safety reasons. I mean, once these get so old, they're not being maintained, collapses happen. I mean, they just don't want people to to die in here just mindlessly exploring. There are plenty of mine tours scattered throughout the area if you want to actually go explore and learn about the inner workings of the mine. It's really cool to just think about probably under our feet right now and throughout all of these mountainsides are just miles and miles and miles of left abandoned tunnels. Most likely, much of these are maybe flooded out at this point. And just imagine the hundreds of thousands of tons of ore that will run along these very tracks. One shovelful or one mine cart at a time that leads you right out to this little cliffside that gives you a beautiful view of Silver Plume. So here you are. So let's continue on down, or I should say up, the 730 mining trail, also known as the Griffin Monument Trail. This specific mine earned its namesake of the 730 mine because many of the workers here would start at 7:30 a.m. in place of most of the lower mines starting at a significantly earlier time. This was due to the long venture all the way up to the top of this mountain to get up and work the ore out of this mountain. Owned by Hennegy Griffin, I think that's how you pronounce it, whose brother is buried at the end of this very trail, marked by an impressive monument overlooking the entire valley below that you can still hike up to today. It's a great way to experience what these miners had to climb up every day to get to work. So billions and billions of dollars in today's money was extracted out of this very mountainside, then transported down, loaded up into train hoppers, and sent down the tracks of the Georgetown Loop, which I don't know if you've heard at all in some of these clips of Silver Plume. You'll hear a light train whistle blowing down through the valley, and you can actually still ride this train from Georgetown up to Silver Plume today. So this silver boom would last throughout the 1880s and the early 1890s, creating fortunes and unfortunately ending some as well. And overall, this is just a start to our historic venture between these two towns. Just like all these mines along this hill that are kind of slowly rotting away into the mountainside, so will our venture here in Silver Plume. And just as Silver Plume was reaching its height, the Bone Wars were about to begin. Our buddy Arthur Lakes continued his geological exploits along with some friends, working their way south along the hogback known as Dakota Ridge, right next to Morrison, Colorado. Little did he know, with one of these explorations, he would change geologic history in March of 1877. Let's go find out how. It's just another day for Mr. Lakes. Time to go out and add to the fossil collection, scavenging a rich fossil bed on the slope of this ridge where he finds what seems to be something much different than a tooth or a plant, but a big old dinosaur bone. Little did he know at the time, Arthur just discovered what is now known as the Morrison Formation, named after Morrison, Colorado, due to this being the home of its discovery, which Morrison is located just down there in this valley. You have Red Rock Amphitheater right behind us, and right down there is Morrison, Colorado. This specific uplift of rock is from about 163 to about 145 million years ago, when dinosaurs roamed and dominated the planet, full of plants and animals like the Stegosaurus, Apatosaurus, I'm going to butcher some of these, Diplodocus, and Allosaurus. He would continue his work here and in Como, Colorado, eventually becoming a full-time professor in 1880 at the School of Mines. And with these discoveries, this land and out west would change forever. Let's go see how. This set off a chain reaction similar to the gold rush, but a bone rush, to find what else was hiding in the western mountains. Not just gold, but old dinosaur bones. More specifically, to find more examples of the Morrison Formation, which is what we're standing on and looking at behind me right now. This ridge is now known as Dinosaur Ridge, along with Dinosaur National Monument in Utah and Como Bluff in Wyoming, that are some of the best examples of what can be found in this formation today. And speaking of examples, right behind me is actually well over 100 million year old petrified seabed, or shoreline bed it should be, not really seabed. But if you're ever at the beach or even in a stream or creek that has like a sandier bottom and you feel those little ripples on the bottom, that is exactly what these are right behind us, just with a little age. So let's continue our way up these geologic milestones and continue this story. This discovery created a ruthless competition between two scientists named Edward Drinker Cope and Nathaniel, I think I said that right, Charles Marsh. The two had a feud brewing prior to Lake's discovery, but it didn't truly boil over until this event sent both on a path of self-destruction. Each one wanted to outmatch each other with the newest and best fossil finding, getting to the point of spying, sabotage, and attempted stealing. Cope published as much material as he possibly could to show he is a better scientist, while Marsh chose the political ladder and became the chief paleontologist of the U.S. Geological Survey, using the power to cut Cope's funding and later trying to steal all of his fossils as well. And this all came to a head when this became a public sensation called the Bone Wars in 1890, when Cope decided to publish news articles detailing Marsh's exploits and wrongdoings. Over the next few weeks of smear campaigns against each other within the papers, both had ruined each other's reputations completely. Both Cope and Marsh's insatiable lust to be the better scientist had led them both to financial ruin. Although their careers were built on spite, they definitely did leave their mark in this realm of study, discovering over 100 new species and most of their artifacts sitting in museums like the Smithsonian today. So let's fast forward to the time of 1937, when a new roadway over this very ridge is proposed to being built. This roadway will be called the Alameda Parkway, and right behind me is that very pathway. And during this process of blasting and removing tons of material to build this road up and over the Dakota Ridge, they discovered a lot more than what they were bargaining for. Now known today as the Dakota Group, which is what we've been using and sampling in this part of the story. So let me turn this around and give you a closer look at some of the coolest spots on this whole ridgeline. This is a massive wall of dinosaur footprints that was uncovered during this process. So today, it has become a national monument, and down below there is even a small museum you can check out that offers tours that takes you up and around this whole ridgeline and gives you a detailed history of this entire place. Well, that is how the Colorado Gold Rush leads to the expansion of Golden and the birth of a state founding the School of Mines, allowing a local professor to make one of the most important archaeological finds of his time, sparking the Bone War. So if you've made it this far, thank you very much for watching. I had a blast researching this and planning this all out. It took a lot of time to throw this and plan this all together, so please leave a like and subscribe. So I'll see you on the next one.